Okay. Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
And
Good evening.
a very
sir.
special notice, like since we couldn't give the last month's note, and so now you can obtain both notes together, July and August note, which is available. So you can send your slips last month's slip as well as this month's slip to Ms. Lakmali and get this. So there is like this is a little lengthier one because it's having 2 months notes. So please talk to Ms. Lakmali and get this. Today onwards, you can collect this from her. Right. Since I couldn't explain this properly, so I couldn't explain the note. I have actually already conducted these lessons, but the note I couldn't explain. So let me revise that and fine tune or revise that and fill the gaps. Right. So we are in the chapter program development, and under that we learned that there are 3 control structures. There are 3 control structures in programming. So these are sequence, selection, and repetition. So can you remember what these control structures do? Sequence, what it does? Sequence, the instructions are executed, which order in sequence? Yes. Abhinu, Manodar, in sequence, what will happen? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you tell me what will happen in sequence? So there are 3 control structures: sequence, selection, and repetition. So out of that sequence, so how instructions are executed in sequence? Sequence where the instructions execute when kohomada? Selection වලදී කොහොමද? Repetition වලදී කොහොමද? Yes, how instructions are executed on selection and how it is in repetition. Yes. Osada, Sisula, Shevin, anyone? Okay, so it's great, right?
Execute the instruction one after another.
Yeah, executing an instruction one after another. Very good. So that is sequence. Selection. Selection. I don't know what you're going to write in the examination, right?
Yeah.
So week after next week, you have the examination.
Choose instruction, execute path based on a condition.
Yes, instructions are executed based on a condition. So that is, so instruction path is selected based on a condition. That is selection. Repetition.
Same set of instructions are executed over and over again
The
based
same set
on
of
condition.
instructions are executed over and over. This is from grade 6. So let me show. So these flow charts. So the first flow chart is showing how to calculate area of a rectangle. The second one is showing how to calculate the circumference of a rectangle. So both are belongs to which group? Sequence, selection, or repetition? These are examples for
Sequence,
grade 6 sequence. These are examples for grade 6 because sequence because you can see instructions are executed one after another. Instruction එකකට පස්සේ එකක් පිළිවෙලට. එහෙමනම් sequence. So we learned that in grade 6. Okay, the මේකෙත් එහෙම instruction එකකට පස්සේ එකක් පිළිවෙලට. So this is selection. So what are the inputs in these flowcharts today? So what are the inputs? Can you remember these flowchart symbols? What are the inputs? Yes, that is easy because it is
length and width.
Length and width are the inputs. What are the outputs?
Display area.
Yeah. Is it only output or is there any other output? Area is output. What else? Yes, only area. Area with the output. Area is output. That is correct.
Circumference.
Circumference. Correct. So what are the processes? Processes, Mona. What are the processes?
Input.
No, processes. Inputs are like length and width. Those are inputs. So can you recognize the symbols?
Width into length.
Yes.
Yeah. Area is width into length. That is a process. What else? Anything else?
Circumference, length,
Yeah, circumference
plus
equal length plus width 1 into 2. Those are processes. So what are the symbols? Inputs are shown using which symbol? Input monak symbol again the pen. Then grade 6 A of comma. Input symbol is parallelogram. Samantarashtra. Parallelogram is the input symbol. Process symbol.
Triangle.
Process symbol is a rectangle. Output symbol.
L.
Yes. Output symbol. Parallelogram. Then decision symbol.
Diamond.
Diamond is for decision. Start and stop symbol.
rounded rectangles.
Rounded rectangle or oval or ellipse. Right? Rounded rectangle, oval or ellipse. Okay. Then data flow.
Arrows.
Arrows. Right, correct. Data flow arrows. Okay, these are the things. Okay, under this lesson, we have learned about algorithm and we have learned about sequence, selection, and repetition. Sequence means, so it is instructions are executed one after another. Selection, instruction path is based on a condition, that is selection. Then repetition is same set of instructions executed again and again, that is repetition, right? So in this, so we have learned how to divide a problem into a manageable, easy to understand, easy to analyze sections. So using these input processes and outputs. And then we have learned about the stretch, like I think you can remember the stretch stage. So the components in the stretch window, we have already learned about that. And we learned why a flowchart is used. Because algorithm can be written using writing language or natural language, but it can be ambiguous. When you write that using natural language, it can be ambiguous or difficult to understand, or it can be unclear. To stop that, symbolic way is used. To stop that, a symbolic way is used to represent this algorithm that is called flowchart. So it has a set of symbols and we learn about those set of symbols as just discussed. And so then we learn how sequence can be, how sequence is there. So how this is executed, then how selection is. So this is example for sequence. And then we learn how selection is done here, decision symbol, right? How selection is done. So can you understand this and tell me the output? So try to understand this flow chart and just send as a message to chat. Message. Just read this flow chart and tell me the output of this flow chart. Send a message to chat. Read this flow chart and send me the output. Make a output. Send it to the chat, please. Okay, send your answers quickly. Still, I got 8, 9. Send your answers quickly. Let's see the answers. Let's analyze and see the answers, what they are saying. Okay. So I got few answers and so display the average. Yeah, that is one output. So is it only output? Only displaying the average? And also says displaying the n1 greater than n2, display n1. No, it's not displaying the small number. It's wrong. Average will be displayed, yeah. That is for sure, the average will be displayed. Is it only the average? That is the problem. N1 is equal to 10, Ronald. N1 is equal to 10, N2 is equal to 15. The average display then N1. So what is that? So that is ambiguous. Displaying the bigger number, you get. N1 is greater than N2, display that N1. Just display the bigger number. Not just the bigger number you give, it is displaying the average as well. Two outputs are there. If number.
Sir, I sent it after that.
All right, okay. Yugit's answer is correct, complete. Then number is greater than number to display the number 1 and number 2. So that is one of the, again, yeah, that is true, but you have to tell me what is the expectation. Is it wrong? Average N1, N2. Yeah, average will be given. So, but anyway, not just the average. N1 or N2 is a like tricky answer, but that is not the expectation. You will not get marks when you write like this. Display the averages, displaying the bigger number and sum of, no, not the sum. Display the bigger number and the average. Right? So that is the output. Okay, so you can see now, right? So here you have to practice. So you know, but you are not concerning much. That is the situation. I think you know the answer, but the thing is you are not. So because you know what are the input output symbols, then you can easily recognize input and output. So this is input. This is also input. This is a process. Input, process. The average is calculated. This is a decision. In this decision, display here, because this is display means output. Either this or this. You will get either N1 or N2. This is output. And surely you will get average. Means either you will get N1 or N2 and surely the average. Either you will get N1, N2 and surely the average. Right? Either you will get N1, N2 and surely the average. N1 and N2 means like whatever the bigger number. If N1 is bigger than N2, if N1 is greater than N2, then N1 will be displayed. If N1 is not bigger than N2, then the N2 is bigger, no? Display N2. That means this flow chart is showing the bigger number as well as the average. Average අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම පෙන්නනවා. මොකද ඒක sequence වල තියෙන්නේ. අනුපිළිවෙලට average එක එනවා මොකද? මේ selection වලින් මේකෙන් හෝ මේක එනවා. මේක හෝ මේක. Either this or this. කියන්නේ දෙකෙන් එකක්. දෙකෙන් වඩා විශාල එක තමයි selection එකෙන් එන්නේ. So this has sequence and selection both. විතර මේකේ sequence එකයි selection එකයි දෙකම තියෙනවා. It has sequence, selection both. Right? Okay, so this conversion, so let's, I think this is easy, but let's convert, can you convert this to a stretch program very quickly? I need this to be voice enabled also. Okay, a challenge. Right? Flowchart එකක් දැන් දීලා තියෙනවා. This is a flowchart. I need you to convert this to stretch form. With voice support, voice enabled. Inputs and outputs. Again, voice වලින් දෙන්නත් ඕන. Enter number 1 කියන එක voice. Enter number 2 කියන එක voice එකෙන් එන්න. Then total equal this කියන එක voice එකෙන් එන්න. Can you do that? You have to convert this to stretch code. So it should be voice enabled. I'll give you 5 minutes. Right, I'll give you 5 minutes. So just give a try.
The enter N1 means
This is what Dasun has done. Dasun, let me show the code first.
Enter no 2.
Okay, this is. Let me show the code. Like, let me see the code.
Enter no 1.
Yeah, enter number 1, enter number, and wait and see this.
2. Total is 10.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good, Dasun. Anyone else? Ronald. Yeah, Ronald, can you enable the voice? I couldn't see.
Hello. Enter number 1.
Okay.
You have entered 54. Enter number 2.
Okay, good.
You have entered 60. 114 plus 60 is 0. Bye.
Yes, good. Anyone else? Okay, let's do this now. So it's easy. It's not difficult. It's easy. So first of all, you have to get this enter number 1, enter number 2, find in total and print in total. And that's all. Let's start scratch and start creating. First of all, what you need to do is get these inputs, actually assign these variables. So there are 3 variables. You have to, like, whatever you need to save in this program, you need to create a variable. So see this, in this, they want you to save N1, N2, then and the total by adding N1. Those are the things that you need to save. Let's create variables. The first variable is N1. The second variable is N2. The third variable is total. Okay, those variables you need to create. Then you need to get these values from the events when flag click. So then you have to get from the sensing. Inputs are obtained through sensing. You can say enter number 1. The answer given, you need to save it to the variable. Let's use the variable and set N1 to the answer. Let's duplicate it, get it one more time, and this time you have to enter number 2, and this you need to save to N2 variable. And then the total, set total. You know how to get the total from the operations. You have to add N1 and N2 together. From this, adding N1 and N2 together will give the total. This is the traditional way of doing the coding. And finally, you go to the looks and output this total. You can use the operations, join apple and banana to make it meaningful. And you can say total is from the variable, the total. That should be replaced to the banana. Total is total. So let me run this code now. Enter number 1, enter number 2. I'm entering another number, right sign. And you can see the total is 79. Let's try it again. 45, 67, and you can see total is 112. That you can display for 4 seconds to make it long lasting. You can see total is 79. So that is the usual code without voice. So let's add that voice support. To do that, you need to get extension, that is text to voice extension. You have to go there, click on the plus sign in the bottom left corner, left bottom corner, this one, And you can see the fourth one is text to speech. Text to speech. Let's add that. First of all, you have to speak and tell, enter number 1. So after entering the number, you can again speak and tell. Yes, use the join apple banana version. I'm telling you have entered the number that you have entered, that is N1. So let's use one more time, speak. Enter number 2. After entering, you can say speak. Again, this join apple banana 1. You need, why? Because you need to tell you have entered this N2. And finally, the total that you have to tell, speak. So that you have to, you can tell like this total. So like number 1 plus number 2 is the total that you can tell. Let's say from the operations, number 1 plus number 2 is equal to, I'm adding this 4 times, right? Join, 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 join. So first I'm telling this from the variables, number 1. Then plus number 2 is equal to, then the top. Then place it here. So my code says number 1 plus number 2 is equal to total. So let's see.
Enter number 1.
Enter number 1, 56.
You have entered 56. Enter number 2.
67.
You have entered 67. 56 plus 67 is equal to 123.
Okay, so if you want, you can add a thank you also. Or you can just copy and paste this here.
Enter number 1.
And tell, instead of plus, you can display the plus sign. Instead of equal to, you can display equal sign. So you will get a meaningful output. Space. Let's see.
Enter number 1. You have entered 45. Enter number 2. You have entered 357. 45 plus 357 is equal to 402.
You can see here, 45, 347, 402. Okay, so those who have not done, can you update this soon? Right. Okay, sequence selection and okay, so can we convert this one soon? So I'll give you only, so no need to voice enable, just convert this one soon to stretch code. So just take 3 minutes, right? You can, because you have already done that half away. So the same one, please change to display the average as well as display the largest number. So just within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, can you do that? You have already entered 2 numbers and you have already found the total, and it's very easy to convert that. So since let me remove this voice controlling part, and since you don't need that, just keep the other codes. Oh, sorry. You don't need the voice controlling part. You can remove that part and keep enter number 1, ask number 1 and number 2. Then actually you don't have this average instead of total. Actually, you can convert that to average, right? AVG. Let's convert that to AVG and set average to the both numbers. You can add them together and then divide by 2. From the operation, take division. So after adding these 2 numbers, just divide it by 2 and you'll get the average. That is there in the flow chart itself, right? That is there in the flow. See how only 1 minute it will take, only 1 minute. So number 1, number 2 added and divided by 2 will give the average. That is there in the flow chart. That is why I said it's very easy. Then you have to compare these two numbers. So let's remove this as well. You have to compare these two numbers. You can use if else, if then else, this part, and how to compare. You are checking whether number 1 greater than number 2. This can be used. You are checking whether from the variables number 1 greater than number 2. If number 1 greater than, then what you need to display number 1 greater than, then number 1 need to be displayed. You can say maybe with a meaningful message operation, with a meaningful message you can say the largest number is, then from the operations number 1, that you can tell by sending a message, say for 2 seconds, 4 seconds. Let's copy and duplicate it one more time, and here the largest number is this time. If it is not, the largest number is set to. So see, this is what you need to do. Then finally you need to display the average as well. Let's copy this. The average is, and then the average. That's it. See, it's only take a few seconds, few minutes. So enter number 1, enter number 2, and you can see the largest is 56 and the average is 45. So let's try it again, a bigger number. So the largest number is this, and the average will be this. This is for a bigger number. The largest is this, and the average is. Okay, see how easy that is, right? That is what the selection is. In selection, you are using if and else statement, conditional statements. One will run out of these given statements, only one. That means either if will be executed, either else will be executed. දෙකෙන් එකක්. එක්කෝ if එකේ තියෙන condition එක run වෙනවා, නැත්නම් else එකේ තියෙන condition එක run. So if you need help, please tell me. If you need help, please tell me. Okay, shall we move to the next one? So now we have discussed sequence and selection, right? So then the next question, so you can see here, right, use pen from add extension button and create symmetric shapes using repetition. Draw flow chart for triangle, square, pentagon and hexagon. So you need to add a pen. This is a question, right? So I think yes, I'll keep these 2 questions as homework. So please take a screenshot of this. Question number 1, 2. So you need to do these 2 questions as homework. Actually, we didn't complete the practical examination. Therefore, I would like to give this as a homework, question 1 and 2. And let me display the repetition also. Repetition is not there for grade 7, but the thing is, for practicing purpose, it's better to do that. Okay, please take a screenshot of this. Okay. Right. Then let me show the repetition part before we wind up. So how this repetition works. Okay, let's see this. So this is there in single medium, but let's see this. So this is understandable. I'll translate, right? This is start. Actually, this flow chart is to display odd numbers between 1 to 10. Here in this one is there. So this is a flow chart to display odd numbers. Odd numbers means the numbers. So when you divide this number by 2, the remainder will be 1. When you divide by 2, the remainder will be 1. That is odd numbers. Those are odd numbers. When after dividing, if you get remainder 1, that is odd number. So how can we do that? Okay, let's see. So starting, then number is equal to 1. So after dividing, if remainder is 1, after dividing this number, if remainder is 1, then display that number because that is odd number. So otherwise you do nothing. Only if remainder is 1, display the number. After all this, after this option, so what you do after this option, you are adding 1 to the number. The first number is 1. 1 now the number is 2. And you are checking whether this is equal or less than 10. If it is yes, if this is yes, you need to add yes there. That is missing here. Let me add that. Yes. And here also you need yes, right? And you need no as well, but if not, nothing is there. Another no is needed. This yes, no is missing, right? Okay, if it is less than or equal to 10, if it is yes, you go back. So see the repetition. Repetition happens like this. Repetition start from this. It's moving down and come here. Or it's coming here. It's moving down and coming here. After that, you have a way to move back. And you have a mechanism to go back. So that is why the repetition. See the arrowheads. Arrowheads forms a cycle. Arrowheads forms a cycle. That is why the repetition. That is symbol like a decision symbol might be. The same symbol is there, but it can rotate and come back. That is why the repetition. Okay, let's do this now. Let's try to convert this to stretch code. So now we have converted a lot of codes. So as the last exercise, I'll be converting this code also, right? Let me erase this. And I don't need the variables. I need only one variable, which is the number. Remove this number. And the first thing is I'm having this, and initially I'm setting the number to 1. Set number to 1. So let's work according to the flow chart. Then you are checking if it is divided by 2, whether remainder is 1. Let's have if. The remainder is found using this mod operator here. Mod. After dividing this number by 2, after dividing the number by 2, you are checking whether the remaining is, you are checking whether it's equal to 1. After dividing number by 2, whether it's equal to 1. If so, you are displaying that as an odd number. You can display the number. Okay, 2 seconds, okay. Display the number. Okay, otherwise what you'll do? Number equal number plus 1, that is also there. Number equal number plus 1. You can say change number by 1. Then what? Then repeat. Is the number less than or equal to 10? You are checking another condition. So you are repeating this process until what? Until this number greater than 10. If this number greater than 10. Until that, you do this. So let me write 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and after that it stops. After that, it stops. It's going up to 11, but only displayed 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It's going up to 11. That is true. Why it's going up to 11? Because here also it's taking, and after dividing the number by 1, if it's like this happens several times. So first time you are checking the number with the divided by the first 1 divided by 2 is 1, yes. Then display the number, add 1, now 2. 2 divided by 2, no. Add 1, 3. 3 divided by 2, yes. Likewise, it will go up to 4, no. 5, yes. 6, no. 7, yes. 8, no. 9 divided by 2 is equal to 1, yes. The remaining is 1. Display that. Add 1, now 10. 10 is not less than, 10 is not greater than 10, right? 10 is not greater than 10. Therefore, it will execute one more time. So now 10 mod, it's 0. So not displaying. Adding 1, now 11. You are checking 11. 11 is greater than 10. So stop. 11 is greater than 10. So you stop. Because you have to repeat until the number greater than 10. So 11 is greater than 10. It stops. Okay, use this as prototype, or use this as the example. And there are 2 homeworks that I assigned. There are 2 homeworks I assigned. So please try to complete that 2 homeworks. The note that you can obtain from Ms. Lakshman, right? Then good night. See you all next week.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Okay, goodbye, sir.
Have a nice day, sir.